Well, today's the day. Madden 21 trailer, news, features, a lot to talk about. So let's just get right into it. Alright guys, it's EricRayweather back here. Of course, last night, most of you saw the trailer leaked. I did post it on the channel. It was like 2 a.m. Didn't really get a chance to talk about it. I'm going to break down the trailers. I think the trailer actually showed a lot, both good and bad, that I want to touch on. But do that at the end of the video. You'll see it playing in the background right now. If you want to hear the trailer with the sound, I'll have it linked below. But I'm going to actually do a breakdown of the trailer towards the end of this video. But what I'm going to do first is actually go over the new features that was just released this morning. The in-depth kind of, not too in-depth, but somewhat in-depth breakdown of, you know, some of the actual features and what they mean for Madden 21. Also, they released, 3 cover versions. I have them on the screen right now. You can see there's 3 different covers. Lamar Jackson covers them all. There's MVP edition, deluxe edition, regular edition. Pre-order information I'm not going to cover in this video because I don't think most of you care about that. I will link it in the description if you want to see what you get with each pre-order. All of that's there. So I'm going to go off camera for a little bit. Because there's a lot of reading I have to do. So I'm going to read off of all the news. You'll have some background stuff playing here. And then I'll come back on screen at the end of the video to break down some of the trailer for you guys. Okay, so I'm on EA's website now. I'm going to read off of some of this stuff for you guys. So the first thing they touch on, of course, is just Lamar Jackson being on the cover. We already know that. Good, and, it's all good and everything. So the first real feature they touch on here is Face of the Franchise Rise to Fame. So last year it was called Face of the Franchise QB1. This year it's called Face of the Franchise Rise to Fame. Like I've been saying leading up to, this reveal, I think Face of the Franchise is something they're going to be big on this year, and that's the first thing they're talking about in the blog. It says, Face of the Franchise returns. Create yourself and begin your career as a quarterback in high school where you'll attempt to lead your team to a state championship. We should mention, while your career starts in high school, that doesn't mean you'll be the starting quarterback. Don't worry, no spoilers here. Next, you'll start your college career on National Signing Day, where you'll pick between 10 Division I schools. You'll be able to play 2 seasons of college football, 2 seasons of the college football playoffs, where you'll attempt to win not 1 but 2 NCAA championships. While in college, you'll have the chance to stay as a quarterback or switch positions to a running back or wide receiver. After your college career, you'll be attending the NFL Combine, where you'll have the chance to test your skills and run the iconic 40-yard dash. When you finally enter the NFL, your career doesn't stop. You have a chance to experience different storylines each season as you make your case for the Hall of Fame. So, few interesting things here, some stuff that I hear that I like, some stuff that I'm a little disappointed by. So number one, you do start in high school, something we kind of were hoping to see. You get to lead your team to a state championship. Hopefully you get, at least a few games in high school, maybe 3, 4, 5 games. I don't know if it's going to be a full season, but that's cool to hear. Obviously you're forced to start as a quarterback. Don't like that. That to me, not a good look. Now, it does say when you go to college, you can change to a running back or wide receiver, because obviously a lot of times college or high school quarterbacks, they do switch positions when they get to, college. And sometimes, college quarterbacks even switch to wide receiver or things like that in the NFL. So, nice that you can switch to other positions, but if that's the only positions, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, still feel like they're dropping the ball on that. I thought they should have unlocked more positions. Maybe, I feel like if there was anything more than this, they would have said it. So you still can't play on defense. I would have liked to see at least, add pass rusher, maybe linebacker to this, defensive back. And I thought because of some of the new, the pass rushing system they're putting in, I thought that would make sense. So we knew they would unlock more positions, but if there's only these 2, that's disappointing. Continuing on, it says you can play 2 seasons of the NCAA college playoffs now. Last year it was just 1, so this means now instead of 2 college games, you can potentially get 4 games. It says 10 Division I schools. I believe last year was it 8? I want to say it was 8 last year, so if that's the case, they did add 2 more, and they've added the 40-yard dash at least, because the combine last year was very bland, so they have added the 40-yard dash. They don't mention the bench press or anything else, so I'm assuming the combine this year is going to probably be very similar to last year with the 40-yard dash added. So kind of typical EA fashion. They are making Face of the Franchise better, but it seems very just spoon-fed. I feel like they could have done more, so I am a little disappointed by that. Now, they go on to gameplay features. So these are the things that we saw in the trailer. It says skill stick. You'll be able to combo together all your evasive moves on the right analog stick, including juke, spin, hurdle, and dead leg. The skill stick brings more fluid, athletic movement to the field and gives you more control over the moves you want to perform. Now, in the trailer, that is something I thought was noticeable. It felt like the moves, while the animations themselves didn't look a whole lot different on the ball carrier moves, there were a couple new ones, but it did look more fluid. But again, it's kind of easy to make it look that way in a trailer, so you have to really play it to understand if it is that way. But now you can do everything on the joystick. You can hurdle, you can dead leg, you already could juke on it. I don't believe you could spin on the joystick already. I think you had to use the B or the circle button. So it seems like everything now is done on the stick, which would make it easier to chain moves together and have them be more fluid. So I think that could be a good change, but we have to see how that performs. Next, they talk pass rush moves. It says all your pass rush moves and block sheds in Madden 21 will now be on the right analog stick. So they're kind of doing the same thing for pass rush moves, putting it all on the analog stick. You'll have full control to choose the exact rush move you want and when you want to do it. Be sure to use your rush move strategically though, as each pass rusher has a limited ammo, or a limited amount, they got a typo here, a limited amount of available moves per play, and blockers will start to build resistance against repeated moves. This will give you more control and adds a layer of strategy to one of the most important aspects of defense. So this sounds pretty cool. Most good players aren't going to use a rush, especially with the pass rush being as good as it was last year. Really no need to. But for the people that like doing it, it gives them something to kind of do now, because you really didn't have much you could do as far as pass rushing. Now you can pick the move you want to do. It's not like generated for you, but kind of interesting that it says that the offensive line will build like a resistance to repeated moves. That almost sounds like an adaptive AI type of thing, which is interesting because that's something a lot of people have asked for in the game, more so on the defensive side. But that's interesting that you can't, at least what it says, you know, obviously sometimes it doesn't work out this way, but it says that you can't just spam the same move over and over. So I wonder if there's going to be a skill to this. If you can get really good at manually pass rushing, if it'll actually be like advantageous to manually rush instead of using somebody in coverage. I can't see a game where it would be better to use a rush than user cover with like a linebacker or a safety, but who knows? We have to see how this plays out. And they did show a lot of these pass rush moves in the trailer. Next, they talk about location-based tackles. These are tackles where both the ball carrier and defender are aware of the first down marker, end zone, and pylon. What this means is you'll see ball carriers reach out the ball while getting tackled to score a crucial touchdown or clutch up a first down. You'll also see the tackling defender struggle but successfully deny ball carrier these reach out moments. Again, this is interesting. Now, we saw this in both trailers. They were emphasizing the reach out thing, something that should have been in the game, but at least I'm glad they finally put it in. But it's really interesting to see them use like this wording, like the ball carrier and defender are aware of the first down marker, end zone, and pylon. That was something they kind of touched on the trailers, were like, you know, sensing the outcomes, right? Because that's a big area that Madden has struggled in, is like the awareness on field of players. Defenders, you know, not putting themselves in the right position. Defenders not trying to make the correct tackle in a situation where you just need to stop the first down. And especially ball carriers being completely oblivious to where the first down marker and the pylon is and never attempting to reach out. Now, I wonder if this is more of like an automatic thing that triggers, or if it's something you can trigger. Like, I wonder, can I make my player reach out, or is he just going to have an awareness to say, okay, I'm close to the pylon, I'm going to get a reach out animation? I would like these things to be user triggered, because I think that's something that you should input yourself. But I kind of have this weird feeling by the way it's worded that this is going to be something that the game decides to do for you, which I don't really like that, but we'll have to see. Now, along with that, that's really all of the news today on the features. And we have some screenshots. Obviously, we have trailers and stuff. Like I said, pre-order info is linked below. So I'll be honest, not totally impressed. But now let's get into the actual breakdown of the trailer itself. Okay, so really quickly before the trailer breakdown, I just noticed something else after I stopped recording, and I wanted to make sure to add this in because this is very interesting. This was on a separate page on EA's website. It wasn't on the main blog where they mentioned this. It says, for the defensive side of the ball, it says, diversify your play calling to outsmart adaptive AI adjustments that counter your tendencies in new ways. That is extremely interesting because it's something people have asked for probably over a decade now. Me personally, I don't really think it's a smart thing because I feel like people that know the game well could still figure out how to take advantage of adaptive AI. If I know how many times I need to run a certain play for your defense to react a certain way, then that can give me an advantage to really abuse your defense. But we don't really know how this is going to work. But the fact that they're using this wording, diversify your play calling to outsmart adaptive AI adjustments that counter your tendencies in new ways, that is really interesting because I feel like that would be hard to do correctly. but the wording of it sounds like something that a lot of people have been wanting. They want adaptive AI. They don't want people to spam the same plays. So, and especially after this year with how the run was and people could just spam the same runs over and over, I'm really interested to see what they mean by this. And they're going to go more in depth on June 25th. There's going to be like a gameplay live stream where they dive completely into gameplay and we'll find out more. So I'm sure we'll hear more about this then, but that is extremely interesting and something that I definitely wanted to note. Okay, so we're back. Quick trailer breakdown, and then we're going to get out of here. So, not going to keep you too long because we've all seen it, but of course you get the Vegas Stadium, cool, Burrow, Brady, all that. Now, in the first Lamar Jackson clip, I think there's just a few things to note here. Number one, that's a new spin move. That is not your typical spin. I think that looks definitely better than the current spin. The current spin is really quick and just not realistic at all. Here, you can see him hard plant and like really set up the spin move. So I think the spin move itself looks good. The auto broken tackle afterwards, I don't like that because that's something we don't like to see in Madden. Very predetermined. Obviously, he's in the zone, so his zone ability is probably something with breaking tackles and making people miss. Obviously, they want to make him look good in the trailer because he's a cover boy, but don't like the auto broken tackle. I feel like a linebacker right there is going to put most QBs to the ground after he just came off a spin. But that's just, I mean, I'm nitpicking right now. Obviously, we see TJ Watt's still an X factor. We see new scoreboard. All that's very interesting. And then, of course, he reaches for the pylon, which is something we know is like a thing now, right? They finally added that to the game. Another thing I want to note is the pursuit of this guy right here, 34. I forget what player this is, but looks very Madden 20-ish. He pursues it like an idiot and then does the auto hurdle, and that, you know, that's not something you want to see. That looks like kind of the same old problem that's still not corrected. Hopefully, maybe they get it corrected in time, but it's still showing itself here. You get to the new ball carrier moves. I think the ball carrier moves look smoother. They don't look a lot different. Like the jukes look the same. I do think they look a little smoother. That's just my opinion. But the one cool one was the side hurdle, and that's what they're calling it, like a sidestep hurdle. I don't know how in game how practical it'll be to use this. Like it's probably very timing based, or it could be very animation and predetermined based. I don't know, but the animation looks cool, right? Definitely looks nice. But we'll see how that works. Again, I think the jukes look a little bit smoother. Some of the animations still look predetermined. Now, right here, Russell Wilson doesn't fumble. That's in any Madden game, that's a fumble like 9 out of 10 times at least. So I wonder if that means we're not going to see as many QBs fumbling this year, or maybe I'm just assuming the wrong thing. Now, the pass rush moves don't really look much different. They look most the same. There might be a couple new ones like that. That bull rush is similar to the current bull rush, but it looks a little bit more vicious, which is kind of scary because this right here has haunted all of us in Madden 20. Defensive tackle just pushes you out the way. Beeline for your QB. I hate this. It feels very, very predetermined and just automatic, but most of the pass rush moves look the same. Bosa stripping the ball looks cool. Gonna be super annoying if it happens to you. I hope this is not a common thing because heads will roll. Looks like something that could be very predetermined. Don't like it. It might be an ability attached to this. Again, looks cool, but not gonna be a good experience if it happens to you, but definitely something new. But all these other pass rush moves look the same. I mean, this is just edge threat right here. When you see this right here, this edge threat, when you see this in Madden 20, you're getting sacked. You're getting sacked every time, right? So that's what that is. The clutch open field tackles. This was interesting, so I want to just point on this. Now, this is an animation right here. Mark Ingram, 2 defenders. Now, in Madden 20 or any other Madden, this guy would never be able to come in and really latch onto this. Very rarely, maybe, but he would dumb out because he's not currently a part of this animation taking place. So the game would have him like, I have nothing to do. He would run here, dumb out. But you see here, he actually latches on and helps bring him down. That's interesting. Is that like a new thing that's going to be common, or is that just like something in the trailer that's not going to be something that really happens in game? Obviously, Matthew here makes a good tackle. Tackling looks whatever. You know, it's kind of hard to really see how tackling is in this type of a trailer. We have to play the game to really know. Here, you know, that looks like a new animation. Cool. I mean, Kerryon Johnson gets lit up. That looks like a little bit of a new hit stick animation, but I mean, he gets put on his ass. And let's be conspiracy theorists for a minute here, because if you know Kerryon Johnson, you know he hates Madden, and he talks the most trash about Madden of like any NFL player. So is this like a petty move? Because out of everybody in this trailer, nobody is more embarrassed than this right here. Anthony Barr put him on his ass. Could he just be, are they being petty, or is this just a coincidence? I don't know. I think they're being petty there. That's just me. And this last thing, this was the most impressive thing of the whole trailer to me, was this double juke by Matt Breida, because you currently can't really do this, at least not this smooth. It's very sluggish, it doesn't work. This almost looks like something you would see, this move just in particular, that you would see in like All Pro Football 2K8. It does look very fluid and fast, where you can go in, go out. That was the most impressive thing to me. So maybe the new stick skill system is more fluid and athletic, but of course you see celebrations, that's there for the kids, it's the Fortnite crowd, you know. Yeah, it looks like Madden 20.2, and I never say that about a Madden, but this really does look like they're just doubling down on Madden 20, and I guess I get it, because it was the most successful year for them. People loved abilities, they liked face of the franchise, even though there wasn't a lot there, so they just put more to face of the franchise. They added 50 new abilities, they're calling it X Factor 2.0, they redid some of the gameplay stuff, but yeah, it looks like Madden 20.2, it doesn't look a whole lot different, so if you're saying that, hey, I agree with you. They didn't touch on franchise at all, so that's kind of alarming for franchise people. There must not be nothing to talk about. They also didn't talk about Ultimate Team either, though, so who knows. They're going to be talking about more stuff in the weeks to come. June 25th is the gameplay trailer. A lot of people are talking about they're only showing, like, pass rushing and running the ball, which was, like, the thing that dominated Madden 20, so that's also alarming, too. But again, last year, the whole trailer was about passing the ball. Bazooka, Mahomes' his abilities, and it wound up being a running game. So that doesn't necessarily mean the game is going to be like that. But interesting that they decided to showcase that in the trailer after that being something that dominated the previous year. But that's it for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you're new. Turn the bell on because I'm going to have a ton more videos coming for you guys, so you want to stay up to date. And as always, I will see you guys next time.